brief overview for this project, I worked on an audiobook titled Fighting the Frenzy. And the idea of it was to supplement my published writing. I have right here a novella I published, Servants of the Shines. So I kind of wanted another way to showcase my writing, I guess. And so the idea was to make an audiobook with sound effects, music, visual effects, all that stuff, as sort of a way to make a more immersive experience and really highlight the advantages of my writing. And I think I struggled a lot with this project over the 2 semesters. There were some issues of passion with the story I was writing and just losing some interest in that. And also a lot of collaboration and other things making it a much slower process than I planned. So just about a week ago, I made a retrospective video sort of going over my thoughts on the process and a bit of a, I guess, behind the scenes of writing as a whole, and how sometimes it can be difficult, you can make mistakes, you can even fail at what you're aiming for, and that it's still important to learn from those sort of things. So I think this is the video.
If you're a writer,
Turn up a little. And I'll let the video speak for itself.
then you can probably relate to the thrill that comes with a new story idea. A new world is beginning to form, with endless possibilities as to how a story can be told. There's nothing quite like the beginning stages of writing a new novel. I find I'm so excited to get into the story, I can hardly contain myself. Though I know I should plan out the plot and characters in more detail, I'd rather get straight into writing the first chapter. Writing is fun, I wouldn't do it otherwise. Still, it is far from easy. Getting tens of thousands of words to form a complete story without any major hiccups requires a level of patience, dedication, and creativity that simply isn't always realistic. Writing can be fulfilling, but it can also be draining. Putting a part of yourself out into the world with no idea how it will be received, it's terrifying. And you only get to that stage if you're lucky enough to be noticed. There are surely millions of words that have been written, yet never seen by anyone except the author. In a way, that's a greater tragedy than anything a creative mind can come up with. The most difficult part of writing, however, is failing. All ideas have equal promise when they start out, but as you begin to write, the spark you felt may not be there. Maybe the scenes aren't coming out how you like. Maybe it's a massive struggle to write a single chapter. Or maybe the passion just isn't there anymore. It hurts having to let go of a story that brought you such joy upon its conception. You might try to push on despite these issues, or maybe you'll feel like giving up on writing entirely. Everyone responds to failure differently, and I wouldn't blame you if you went with either of these options. For me, failure never gets easier to swallow. Stories invoke such intense emotions in me, and I would love nothing more than to bring out those same feelings in the people who read my books. But every time I write, there's a voice in the back of my head. You're not good enough, it tells me. No one will want to read your stories. Sometimes I find myself agreeing with that voice. On the day I'm recording this video, I am a senior interactive multimedia major at the College of New Jersey. For those who don't know, interactive multimedia is a blend of art and technology. Web design, coding, animation. It takes creativity and tech skills and blends them together. Seniors in the program spend their final year working on a thesis project, which they present at the end of the spring semester. I knew from the start that I wanted my thesis to be a presentation of my writing abilities. My goal was to find a creative medium for telling my story, though that's easier said than done. How do I take the words in my head and bring them to life in a way other than writing them down? The idea I came up with was a project known as Fighting the Frenzy. Named after the story I was writing, Fighting the Frenzy would be an audiobook with sound effects and music made to enhance the listening experience. In the fall semester, I wrote and edited a single 3,000-word chapter, which was narrated by my girlfriend, Thea. I also commissioned her to compose the music, and commissioned an artist who had worked with me in the past to make an art piece for the project. By early 2022, I had a single chapter complete.
Left! Veer left, damn it! Nifa shouted the words, throwing the dagger at Veer. It was easy to duck down and dodge, but Veer knew the danger in Nifa's magic right now. It was a minor form of telekinesis, and she was a master with it. As soon as the dagger passed over Veer's head, it began to spin rapidly, shooting right back at her. Veer had to use her own magic to get away, shooting out a line of green energy from her hand. It lashed onto the branch of a nearby tree, letting her swing out of the den.
Around About this time, the doubts were starting to surface. Is a single chapter really enough given the amount of time I've had? Will my thesis hold up to the others in my year? Is Fighting the Frenzy even a story I want to write? Despite these doubts, I pushed on. I had no choice. The clock was ticking to our presentation in May, and with only a few months left, there wasn't enough time to completely overhaul my project. So I began writing chapter 2. I had Theo record it like before, and quickly edited together the fight scene I had written. This time around, I included visual effects to make the story even more immersive. This, I told myself, will give my thesis the level of quality that will be expected.
That net only lasted a second under fire from the frenzied's mother, but that second was enough for more girls to attack her. Fury saw lasers, bladed rings, arrows, and more fall onto the possessed girl. The ring's petals were included in the barrage, creating a blast that made Fury shield her face.
April rolled around, and the fight scene from chapter 2 was posted onto YouTube. But was this enough? Was I just going to present chapter 2 and expect people to know what was going on through context clues? Would they care to stay the 6 minutes that my video lasted for? My doubts were greater than ever, and now I had even less time. Not even a full month. I uploaded the video on April 11th, and I was expected to present on May 6th. At this point, I had to put all my faith in this project. Easier said than done. Despite my professor and classmates seeming impressed with my work, I could only look at it with disgust. I had 4 years in the program to plan out my thesis, and this was the best I could do? I felt pathetic. During all this, I didn't stop writing. A new story idea had come to me, and I was in love. I've written 8 chapters already, and have a good half of the story planned out. The more I read the story, the more I feel that Fighting the Frenzy just can't compare. In my eyes, I failed. I had a wonderful idea, and it simply couldn't pan out the way I wanted it to. I tried presenting my project in a celebration of student achievement on campus, and as I saw the other projects around me, so technically impressive and engaging, I felt a single emotion settling in: shame. It's no exaggeration to say that I put my soul into my work. Writing is what makes life worthwhile for me, and I can't imagine ever stopping. But in moments like this, I have to wonder, what am I putting in all this effort for? What is my writing really accomplishing? Funny enough, it was my past writing which answered this question for me. A novella I wrote in my senior year of high school, titled Servants of the Shines. At the time, I was struggling with heavy anxiety and depression, and I wrote the main character's experiences off of my own. Though she lives in a world of epic magic and mysterious creatures, she can only focus on her own shortcomings. She hates herself. She finds no value in her life. She wants to die. Throughout Servants of the Shines, the main character, Alteria, learns to care. She meets people who support her, who love her even. When she beats herself down, they're ready to pick her back up. The process of recovery isn't easy for her, and she still has a long way to go at the novella's end. But she comes to the realization that she likes herself, that she is worth the love others give her. That is a lesson I myself need to consider. How can I expect others to enjoy my writing if I myself look down on it? Of course, I don't want to be arrogant. I'm not expecting to be the next Brandon Sanderson. But I truly believe that my stories have themes and characters worth exploring, that they deserve to be read. Fighting the Frenzy was a failure, but we are capable of learning from our failures. Each word that I write is an opportunity to hone my craft. Each plot point that doesn't work is a chance for me to reflect on what could be done better. Throughout these past few months, I've learned about collaborating with others, how reading a book out loud can change its tone, and about what I want from my writing. In the end, what I want is to make people happy with my writing. Not all my stories are happy. Some tackle depressing themes and the characters within them struggle. But when my readers get to the final page, I want them to feel that this was a story worth reading. And in the end, the best way to ensure that is to feel myself that they were worth writing. My doubts will never go away. I'll always feel, at least partly, that any joy people get out of my stories is pure happenstance. A stroke of luck which will one day run out. That's just how my mind works. Still, if I tell myself to feel pride, to love my work, then I'll know those niggling doubts are wrong. Like Alteria in my story, I can learn to care, and that is enough.
introspective look at my writing and sort of the process and how this thesis developed over the past 2 semesters. And if you're curious about the thesis itself on this channel, Celestial Drafts, you can look at chapter 1 and a preview of chapter 2. And both the chapters in writing are on celestialdrafts.wordpress.com. And the novella I talked about, Servants of the Shines, that's right here if anyone wants to take a look at it. I'll just leave it on this table. And that's pretty much it.
Very well spoken.
Thank you.
Question, why, you said Fighting the Frenzy, you said it was a failure. Is it because it's incomplete or because you're not happy with it, or why did you say that?
I think it's just that what I intended to accomplish when I set out with the project, I didn't quite reach that. Because what I wanted it was for it to be a really good supplement to my writing as sort of a way to advertise it. So maybe if I'm trying to show off my writing to an agent or something like that, I could link them to this, and it would be a good showcase and something that would make them interested in my writing.
Mm-hmm.
But I still feel like I'd be better off just sending them, I guess, excerpts of stuff I've written already rather than these videos.
So you're not planning to pursue that work further?
At the very least, not this project. I thought the process of editing the audio together was interesting, so I wouldn't mind some sort of career that would involve audio editing. It's really, I'm just kind of open to a lot of stuff right now, and I guess I'll see what happens.
I have to say, don't be too hard on yourself. There's a lot of people that wouldn't have tried to do it. So,
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's always something I've been working on.
I feel it. I'm the same way, so.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.